Meanwhile, please just answer the question. Please answer the question because I'm gonna start the classroom. Later on, I will not accept the answers. The answers, yeah. So to get started, meanwhile, just to gain time. If you have any questions raised from last class or anything you want me to re-explain, it's okay. Tell me if you have any questions before we start. Shall we start? Are you ready? Are you with me?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Doctor. Please start.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I'd like to remind you on what we stopped at last class. We were passing about, we were talking about the history of the computers. We presented the fourth generation, and the question today I submit to you, it is talking about this context here. The most advances that we saw on the fourth generation is the integration of the microprocessors, the CPUs. The microprocessor has been introduced to the world within the fourth generation. For the fifth generation, it is actually the nowadays computers. What we see today, what we use as smart devices today, they are considered to be fifth generation computers. Mobile devices تستخدموهم أو computers you use desktops or laptops whatever, they are considered within the fifth generation, and still the advances in this regard is going on. Means the updates on the fifth generation is still going. It is not final. يعني still we'll see advancements under the title of the fifth generation. Examples, a conference has been held internationally, was presenting some of the features that the fifth generation computers present, which is the natural language capability. It can understand what you speak and it can reply you using a voice. As per an example, the Watson computer presented by the IBM. It is a very good example. In addition to the natural language recognition, the artificial intelligence has been also integrated with the fifth generation. Come back one step back. Those two actually components, they are very let's say vital and brilliant in the fifth generation as a feature, as features in plural. They are not unique, but they are one of the very, because they are 100% facilitating our lives. They are bringing the life to an easy stage. Okay, let's describe the hardware and software of the computer devices and of the computerized devices in general, the hardware and the software. Starting by the hardware, usually we classify the device or the peripheral as if it is an device utilized for the input, or for an output, or for making computation or calculations or processing. First of all, there are internal devices, there are external devices, and there are associated with actually the let's say the with the main work of the computer, the hardware. We see that. Regarding the internal devices, we talk about the main case when we see um, a desktop. The main case is constituting all the internal devices. The external devices, the mouse, for example, is an external device. The data show, the Proximo, the let's say the presentation device is an external device. The printer, if we use a printer, it's an external device. All the devices that they are utilized outside of the case, outside of the CPU central processing unit, is considered to be an external device. Hardware, both internal and external, they are both of them considered to be hardware. Good. Based on the functionality, that the device do, we classify them also. We said the input, output, and the processing. Every and each single hardware responsible of bringing a data. We defined last class the data and the information differences. The data, if it is brought from you as a user to the central processing unit, to the computer, to input it, it is an input device, whatever. For example, if I want to send an order to this slide to, for example, what I'm doing now, see, I'm selecting this word, devices, I'm highlighting. What am I using? I'm using the mouse. So I'm sending my command from my side to the computer. So the mouse is what? Is an input device or an output device? It's an input device because I'm sending my order to the computer. At the same time, I'm seeing the effect of the order I'm submitting on screen. So the screen is displaying to me as an end user, the effect, the activity, what the computer did. It highlighted this phrase or this word. So the screen is bringing the thing out. It's an information that has been sent to me. Information now. It's not a data. It's an information submitted to me to be seen on screen. So the screen is an output device. Whatever, based on understanding here. Actually, they are very easy and trivial components, input-output devices. But this is the key feature to understand, because there are so many and numerous devices to classify them either input or output. So based on the function they do, they might be classified as input or output. You just understand, do they submit data to the computer, or do they bring information from the computer? If the first, so they are input. If the second, so they are output. If neither this nor that, when we look to the central processing unit, the case, the big case of the computer, the desktop, they are not. The case does not do neither bring an output nor take an input. It does not do anything. It is doing one group of computation capabilities. It is covering those computation capabilities, but internally we can't see anything. So it is a processing unit. Mainly the main component responsible for the computation is the microprocessor. The microprocessor is the component, the key component responsible for doing the total computation. But he will not do that by himself. He's doing it by using via the help of the motherboard and the other peripherals, the internal peripherals, the internal, with the help of the internal peripherals. So the CPU here is a processing unit, and the CPU is constituted of the processing unit, the microprocessor, in addition to all the internal peripherals. Output devices, we present them if they are bringing output, an information or group of informations, plural. Still in the hardware, they are not only classified to do input, output, and they stop there, or maybe a processing unit, processing only. If we look to the, for example, the CD drive or the laser reader, they are all doing one activity, but they are not classified neither processing tools, nor input tools, nor output tools. They may be classified as input sometimes, but they are mainly utilized to store data. So they are having a functionality which is clearly described here, which is the storage, The storage is just to save data somewhere inside the computer, or maybe outside even, but it would preserve the data in a safe and intact area in order to reach it and to refer to it in a future time. The future time might be after a few seconds, after minutes, after hours, after days, after months, after years. It is to be preserved. The storage device has to guarantee that the data won't be modified or just altered by itself unless a user has made changes. Another functionality we might see, which is the data transmission or the communication devices. We can communicate using textual data. We can communicate using voice and video data and so on. So the data transmission is another function that the computer or the computerized devices do or guarantee to us. We have to refer to the devices that they give us the chance to send data or information in general. Now I'm speaking to you and you are listening to me. How am I speaking? I'm using a headphone and I'm using a microphone. So those two devices, the headphone and the microphone, both of them, they are actually external devices, yes, but they are dedicated to communication perspectives. Not only the headphone and the microphone, they are utilized for communication, but this central processing unit is constituting devices dedicated to the communication. Can we use a desktop to get connected to the internet? Absolutely, the answer is yes. Trivial. How it is doing that? Using a cable, a dedicated wire to get connected to the internet. So the cable has to be connected and attached to the case. The answer is yes. How and where? It is using a modem or using a network interface card. There are peripherals responsible for, they are internal here. The modem is an internal device, but it is dedicated to communication purposes. One view to describe the computer internal and external devices, and also based on the function as we described. You can refer to this graph later. All we described actually. From another side, the software. The other group, the second group, is the description of the software. Computerized devices, they are not only made of hardware as we described, because without the software, the hardware won't act. If we come back one step, you see this device here is a printer. This printer here, the printer here, it is an external device. It is an output device. It is a device that has to be connected to the case, and this is the case. This is the CPU, central processing unit, where the microprocessor resides. This printer here, if we don't have a software inside the case to use it to control, won't act. It won't print anything. So the software would act and would be operating to finalize the task that the hardware is intended to do. If we don't have an operating system installed, we explained information operating systems last class, installed inside the case here, this computer won't boot, won't start, will not start. At the same time, we have to classify. Actually, we classified them, and just as per the definition only. To remind you, the software, they are classified in two groups: either application software, which are programs to be utilized to finalize some tasks inside the computer, tasks to fulfill the need of the user, or they are system software, which are mainly they are operating systems. They are operating systems to actually give the user the full control of the hardware and to be utilized to run the software, the application software, the programs. Because an application software or a program, if it is not installed on top of a system software, which is operating system, it will not run. It will not work later on. So we have two groups of software now. We see the application software or the programs utilized by the end users to finalize their needs or to fulfill their needs. And the second group is the system software, which are mainly the operating systems in plural, utilized to control the hardware, yes, control all the actions the user wants to do on top of the hardware, in addition to helps the user to run the programs, because without the software, the system software, the programs won't run. There are so many dedicated tasks to the system software, but mainly those are two very pillar functions that the system software do. System software in plural does or do, which is the run of the program or the group of programs that the user do, or they control the hardware if the user needs. For example, this printer, if we want to control it, there have to be a software on top of the operating system to control the hardware, which is this printer, because this printer is a completely external device. Any questions here, please? We define the hardware from different perspectives, and we define the software based on two groups. Yes.
No, mister.
Okay, that's good. So that's good that it is clear. Okay, one step further. One step further. The context of the hardware and the software and the operating systems. Just let me fix this thing. Yeah, the software and the operating system mainly. We talk. It is the main component responsible for loading. I come back one step further. I did not explain this point. To boot all the hardware and to make the thing uh, run properly. It is a task to be done by the operating system, the boot and to load the desktop and all the features that the computer can do. It is one of the operating system roles. It is nominated to be the boot, or the startup of the computer, which is the loading of the all the features that the computer can do, mainly to load the desktop and to make all the software ready to be run. This is an example of an interface that the OS here is, where the OS here is the Windows 8. It's a matter of understanding only. There is no technical secret. It means here you have to know that an OS is the one that will load the capabilities of the computer. What does it mean? He will start the computer. What does it mean to start? It means there are features and functions to be ready for you as an end user to use. So this is a view where the computer is completely started and booted. And the example of the operating system here is Windows 8. No more, no less. When we say that the groups of the software uh, they are classified into two groups: application software and system software. The application software, they are the examples of the utilities, programs a user has to use or have to use, users in plural, to finalize their tasks. What does it mean? What does this mean? It means actually, for example, I'm going to open the computer for what? To just open it? No, I'm going to open the computer to use the internet, to write a report as a Word report, to create an Excel sheet or just a spreadsheet for calculations or some analysis or whatever. I'm going to have a function to do inside the computer. Because of this, the program is a very crucial, the application software or the program, it means the same thing. It's a very crucial and vital utility or tool for the user to use and to follow in order to complete or to finish or to fulfill his need or his needs in plural. As per an example, if you want to play videos or just you want to see the recording of this class, for example, later on, if you don't have a video player in your computer installed as a software, which is actually an application software, you'll not be able to run the recording. Don't say I have a computer, I will run it. No, 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 no. The computer is not a judgel box. It's not a mystery. If you have an installed software to run videos, you'll be able to run the video and to see the recording. If you don't have an installed application to run videos, you will not be able to run and to see and to listen and to see the video recording. Whatever the computer you have, a cheap one or an expensive one. Just a second, please. So, sorry for the interruption. Um, we continue examples of the software that we can utilize. This is a browser. This is actually the Microsoft Office Word, which is utilized for generating doc files, or let's say reports as textual contents. Um, Actually, the description of the software. There are two groups: system software, application software. The first group is utilized for helping the user to finalize his tasks. The second one is to do mainly two topics, two pillars, which are the control of the hardware and to help the user run his programs fully. That's it. Uh, from another point of view, what the computers provide to us is the control of the users and the control of the accounts inside the computer. Means who is going to utilize the computer and who is allowed to utilize this topic or this program or this hardware or whatever. The control of users means the computer. If you are utilizing a computer, does not mean that you just start the button, you boot the computer and you utilize it. No, users inside the computer, they might be controlled. First definition of computer user: he's the one who is able to retrieve data. He's the one who is able to visualize information from the computer. This is a user. This is the definition of what is a user. Um, Users, they are segregated into types. An end user just to have an information and that's it. An end user is a user that would have the capability to retrieve information and that's it's a simple user. This is an and user. And user, single, without S. And user. And users, plural, they are simple users that they are only to retrieve information only. The professional users, the other category, actually, it is also segregated in two groups, and those groups they are professionally seen. What does it mean, professional users first? The professional user is a user that has to do one professional task inside the computer, or is going to use the computer for a professional task. Very good examples, actually, web developers to help us, for example, to make this broadcast now, in the sense of I'm giving you this explanation and I'm making you see the slides online and I'm speaking and you are listening. This is done using what? This is using the video broadcasting tool which is provided by the Google Meet, and we are recording even this we are recording uh, this presentation. This Meet or this Google Meet, they are it is a software, it is a utility developed by a developer or a programmer. In plural, they are programmers or they are developers. They are dedicated to generate solutions to be utilized on computer. Another professional view of another professional user that can be seen on computer, seen utilizing or using the computer is the analysts. Yeah, they are people done to make analysis on group of data and information to retrieve and to make decisions or to help, let's say, end users make good decisions or positive decisions, decision making, no more or less, for different perspectives analysis to be done. Another professional view where we can find users also is to manage daily activities day by day. For example, office work. An administrative here in University of Nizwa, he comes here to take his computer to finalize the daily work. The daily work. He does not know exactly what he will do, but he will see what are the pending activities, and he will finalize them one by one. Daily activities, bureaucratic. It is said to be bureaucratic activities. A very sensitive other field where we can find users is the context of the digital security or the cyber security, where we can see specialists taking their role to control everything, not only the users, to control the computer activity fully. What the processor does, the security specialist controls. Means he may block even the processor, the computer, from doing a task, not only the user. It is a very sensitive and, let's say, professional task to do. We find users here also. They are classified to be security specialists. Any questions? I give you one question to answer. I'll give it to you later on in the Google Classroom. Yeah, if you have any questions, Khalifa.
No, Doctor, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good. So I continue. Just interrupt for perhaps. Sorry for that. Uh, Remember that the computer, however we describe it, it is a judged box to help us as end users to fulfill our need. Does means I'm using a computer, or I'm utilizing a smart device, not for nothing, just to finalize my need mainly. Uh, Actually, technically, we are segregating the activities here based on 6 groups. They are not unique, but mainly they are 6 groups where we can see the computerized devices in action. I give the example of the smart cars. I believe that all of us, we know the GPS installed on cars, integrated on cars. I believe that all of us, we know that the smart cars, they are capable to have some sensitive capabilities and display them to the end user or to the driver. This is using what? This is using embedded computers. Inside the car, there is a tiny computer. It is nominated as an embedded computer. It's an example only. It is not a restriction. It is not unique, but it is a good example to take as an embedded computer. What does mean embedded computer? It means the car would run without the computer, but because of the capabilities and the features of the computer, the integrated computer, the car would be nominated as a smart car. Mobile devices, all of the portable and carried on hand devices, they are capable to do professional and very deep computational tasks. So they are computerized devices. So they are sort of computers, mobile devices. Not only the cellular devices, not only the cellular devices, the tabs, all the categories, laptops, they are all mobile devices. Desktop computers, Desktop computers, the personal computers, PC. It's another group of computers or computerized devices that we can refer to finalize our tasks. As I'm doing now, I'm using my office computer to explain this class. So I'm fulfilling my need to explain and present this class using what? Using my personal computer, my office personal computer, let's say. It's a desktop. Another group, which is the servers. Servers. Actually, to run the Google Meet, or to run for example, the EduWave, University of Lisbon EduWave, or to run the University of Lisbon website, what would be there? My computer. Okay, I can use my mobile or my computer. That's good. My terminal. Hey, the website or the EduWave or whatever, where are they? Are they in my computer? No, they are not in my computer. They are integrated, or they are installed, or they are compiled and hosted by a server, which is a dedicated device to host applications online, to reach them, to open any website, www.website.com or whatever, any website, any web application, any web-based system, any mobile application. The mobile application or the website or the web system, they are all hosted on web servers. So the server is a hardware that hosts applications to help users fulfill their needs. If you need an application to, for example, if you want to install the GPS in your mobile, what should you do? You have to install the GPS application. From where? From the host. Who is it? It's the server dedicated for this task. So servers, they are devices hosting, let's say, solutions or applications or systems or whatever, to help the user based on his needs to finish his needs. Another description, another category via which we see the hardware or the devices, they are the mainframe computers. Actually, they are the very primitive shape of computers, and still up to date they are in action, but for different for specific tasks. The mainframe computers. Actually, you would have to see a very big juggle box, and there are only screens connected to it. Only screens. Everybody in the organization that use the mainframe would have only a terminal to visualize the data from the mainframe. So to a mainframe, there may be tens or maybe hundreds, depends on the potential of the mainframe, connected terminals. And the mainframe only is doing the computation. So one device is given the sources and the resources to tens and hundreds of end users. Mainframe. حاسوب مركزي. Supercomputers or supercalculators. It's another group where we can see the hardware in action. The supercalculators, they are very dedicated computers. They are, at the end of the day, computerized devices, but they are dedicated to very sensitive fields of action, like the medicine, like the space and the aero activities. They are very sensitive, and they are doing computation capabilities. They are doing computational, let's say, tasks very fast, enormously fast. Supercomputers. Actually, you can have them at home, but useless, because their task is not to solve your home activities or your daily activities. As we said, the supercalculators or the supercomputers, they are for sensitive and very sensitive tasks, like the medicine, like the aeronautics, like the space industry, and things like that, where the highly sensing capabilities is required. Exactly what I was explaining. Exactly what I was explaining. Those are the 6 categories. The embedded computers integrated to a car is a very good example. Mobile devices, all the portable devices, they are sort of mobile devices. Personal computers, the desktops, they are a very good example. PCs. The here, okay, so I mean, whatever, all they are for different tasks to do based on the task, but all of them, they are desktops. All of them, they are desktops. From the portable devices, remember that we can have a laptop to be classified as a mobile device because it's portable. It is to be carried on, and it can be taken away with you wherever you go. So still, we're talking about mobile device. Yes, portable or mobile is the same at the end of the day. They are having very common, despite the difference in shape, despite the difference in shape, still they are having a very big list of common points in common points and criterions. Good. The software actually, as we described earlier, that can be installed on your computer to fulfill your needs or to give you the chance to control the hardware. If I ask you the following question, I give you the software, sorry, the software ABC, and I want you to classify it. Is it a software application or is it an system software? Here, to answer this question, it is based on the need of the user. For example, the software is used to run activity on the internet. Just I'm going to use the software ABC to reach a service on the internet. It's clearly it is helping you as an end user to fulfill your need, which is to run services. It's a software application. It's a software application. Here, when you talk about reaching activities on the internet, it cannot be an operating system. It cannot be an operating system because the operating system would control the application to run or not, would control the hardware to boot or not, or to, let's say, if it is a printer, for example, to print or not. But it does not give you the chance to get a service from the internet. No. To do so, you need an application software. Classification of the still here devices dedicated to such tasks. Classification of devices to do such task. For example, here we are seeing some characteristics, features to describe a device dedicated to a specific task. A device dedicated to a specific task. This is one industry, the thin client. This is one industry which is mainly dedicated to do such a functionality. The thin client does not have the capability to do but to give you the chance to get into the internet and to reach the service on the internet. It is like that. This is the industry. They have this capability only. So you buy this device or such a device to reach services on the internet only. If the internet is down, the device is useless. The device is useless, is mainly with no use. In the sense of you cannot utilize it for anything else but to access the internet. This is an example only, the thin client. But the category, it gives us the understanding that there are devices dedicated to specific tasks. Actually, the appliances on the internet, as per example, what are the appliances here we describe? All the activities you wanna do actually based on what are the needs. Example, actually, you wanna utilize the internet for gaming. So you have to have a dedicated device to help you in doing gaming activities. So the network access here, it is based on your need, no more, no less. So the device, it is going to give you an access to the internet, yes. Yet there are purposes behind, and based on the purposes, you specify the appliances. Because accessing the internet for doing or for playing online games is not the same when you access the internet to just download a PDF file. It's not the same at all. The capabilities, they are completely different. Accessing the internet to play games, it needs from you a very powerful device with dedicated appliances. Yet downloading a file, it does not need strong capabilities. simple connectivity can lead you to download the file. Any questions, please?
No, Doctor.
Um, you are 10. Check the attendance, please. Yeah, okay, خلاص, you are all here. So thank you very much for today. I'll stop here since you don't have any questions, and see you next class.